Okay, hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the webinar. Shobhesh, you want to start? I think we can go
Sure,
on.
ma'am. Just we can wait for a minute, so because the participants are joining now. So
I think the recording is on and participants are there, so we can start, I think.
okay, so hello everyone. We welcome you all today's webinar with Professor Neetika Batra on soil 1-year PGPM admission process. Uh, Speaking about the speaker of the day, Dr. Neetika Batra. She is our Dean and Professor of Finance, holds PhD degree and Master in Finance from Delhi University, and graduated from SRCC Delhi. She has 30 years of experience, almost equally divided across industry and academics. Her industry experience has been in investment banking, and her PhD research work is in priority sector lending by banks. Apart from the journal publications, she has also written a textbook on investment planning. Her PhD and research work are mainly in the area of the priority sector lending by banks in India. So that's Dr. Neetika Batra. So going forward, please note all of you that all lines will be muted for you all for the entire webinar session. We do have a Q&A session at the end. So you can provide your question and answer in Q&A box that you can find at the bottom of the panel. So over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Shobhesh. Shobhesh Ranjan is our senior manager admissions. He heads that area for us, and he has a very extensive experience in the education industry after having done his master's in international marketing. We have Dr. Devrata Das here, who is our faculty chair for admissions, and he has more than 26 years of experience in the field of teaching, training, consulting. So extensive, experience in teaching analytics, which is his passion area, and he's amazing at that with the students. And he'll also be helping us with the admissions this year. We have my other team members. We have Ishpreet Ahuja, who's the team leader, who's the manager admissions, and she has been with Soil for almost a decade now, and her experience is also very, very rich in terms of handling admissions. And after her brief stint with ICICI Bank, right after the MBA that she has done. Then we also have Hansi Arora, who's another very long time asset with Soil, very, very well experienced and competent person. And so much so that now she has been moved to do a PhD. So her PhD is in brand positioning. So I was trying to introduce my team members to all of you so that, if you have the need tomorrow, you can contact any of the team members. We are very blessed to have a highly competent team who understands the education space very well and what Soil has to offer. And along with that, whether it is a good fit for you and vice versa. So I think all of them act more like mentors and not just as admission people. And therefore, I think they'll be able to help your career journeys when you contact them. So I want to thank everybody for joining me here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And what we'll do is we will spend about 10 to 15 minutes. I will take you through broadly the admission process and the objectives of admission process in Soil. And thereafter, I'll leave the floor open for questions from you all, because, I think it's better that we speak to what you really want to know. Going for the admission objective here, as you all know that Soil is a unique school, right? So we are very well known for our very innovative curriculum and learning design. We have been pioneers in many ways in the country to challenge the traditional norms of education. and bring to the country what is really required in that space by bringing some very relevant courses into the curriculum and having a very rich industry connect, because MBA ultimately is meant for the industry. And so unless industry partners in the curriculum, in the placement, in the admissions, then it really has no meaning. And therefore we believe a lot in bringing industry experience into the classes and into our admission process, into our placements everywhere. uh, we also believe in the holistic development of students. We feel that it is not just enough to sharpen your thinking skills. It is equally important to sensitize you on your being skills, so how you are as a human being, who can be a successful leader, not just in your professional life, but also in your personal life, in your social life. Because ultimately, the science of management is all about managing yourself before you start managing others around you, right? So what are those key skills which will help you develop that all-round understanding? And therefore we have some very unique courses like self-leadership, like theater, like yoga, like whole systems thinking and design thinking into our curriculum. So having said that, we also believe that each individual is very special and has some unique strengths, and therefore it's better, and that's what research also proves, that uh, when you work on your strengths, the results are much faster and much more satisfying than if you focus only on your weaknesses. And that's why mentoring forms a very, very critical part in soil, where each student is assigned a mentor who handholds the journey of the student throughout the year. Now, given these key principles on which we have our vision and our philosophy based, you will see the same principles in our admission process also. So the admission process has been very, very carefully designed so that it aligns very well with our philosophy and does not act as a separate entity by itself. So therefore, if you notice in our admission process, we do not rely only on your competence or your IQ. We also rely a lot on understanding your overall personality. So therefore, you will see that psychometric analysis tool, which we conduct, is a very critical part of our admission process. So we have tied up with a very competent research agency who have designed this psychometric tool for us, which is called STAT. And you take that before your interview, and that helps us understand your personality. So I just want to say it's not an accept or a reject tool. It is just to understand what kind of personality you have, and therefore which way can we work with you during the year, right? So that is a very key part of our process. Then our interview process, what we call, uh, is actually a talent appreciation process, as we call it, TAP, right? So it's called talent appreciation process, which means that it's not like the interview in the interview sense, where one is trying to assess the other person. It is about understanding you, understanding where you come from, what are your key strengths, and whether an MBA or a soil is good fit for you or not. Because ultimately this is a lifelong decision, right? So you don't want to enter it just for the sake of it. So therefore, in that interview or the talent appreciation process, we have some senior faculty members and industry people also sitting together, and we spend almost 45 minutes on each individual to understand that person's profile, and to see whether it's good fit for an MBA and for soil. uh, and that's why the questions are not totally around your IQ levels or your competence levels. They're also a lot about understanding your background, about your way of thinking, your attitude, and what you want to do in future in life, right? So what are your aspirations, what are your dreams? So those things are very, very critical. um, and that is why we always have an industry person representative, preferably from the consortium that we have, companies that we have, and a faculty member who can understand you, and who are also understands the education and the industry, and therefore can understand whether your profile is a meaningful fit for the MBA. So that's how the process broadly goes. And of course, there is a resume screening. There is some other factors, a little bit, that we consider, because this is an MBA program, and there are some technical courses, and therefore it's necessary that you understand, or at least have a basic inclination towards understanding business and management. And the fact that this is a 1 year program, will require a lot of rigor also from students, and therefore it is important for us to understand whether you can take that rigor or not. And that's the reason also why we have the mandatory 2 year work experience minimum. So the overall the average work experience is normally about 3.5 to 4 years in the class, uh, ranging from about minimum 2 to about 7 years or so. And average, therefore, 3.5 to 4 years is what we have. And that's the reason, because it's a 1 year program, and then it does call for the student putting in more of hard work and more of efforts to be able to finish a curriculum which is otherwise for 2 years into a 1 year space. And then that of course means that you also save on 1 year, and the opportunity cost related with that, and you start uh, working and earning 1 year before the others do. And that's why the curriculum has been developed in such a fashion that you will be able to have the entire learning experience, a complete learning experience, within 1 year time frame. So that's how we normally go about in our admission process. Uh, I mean, that's the overall understanding of the student. And like I said, it's IQ and EQ based both. Uh, and of course, we do welcome a lot of diversity in the batch. So our objective mostly is to get people from as diverse backgrounds as possible, so that the peer learning is rich in the class. So this being an MBA for people with prior work experience, who come from different industries, different roles, different backgrounds, so when there's a discussion in the class on some business matter, on some subject, each one brings his or her thought process, and that contributes to the learning of the entire class and makes it more exciting. Otherwise, if everybody's thinking the same ways, of the same background, then there's no addition to the learning. And that is why we welcome a lot of diversity. And therefore, if your background is something which is unique, it's always welcome into the class. So that part of it. And of course, like I said, it's not just about academics. Of course, that is important, the fact that you would have done fairly well in academics. What is also important is how you went beyond that, and took some extra efforts in some other domain of your choice or your passion. So if you have excelled, let's say, in sports or in music or drama or some other field, that definitely adds to the richness of your profile and the attraction that we have for you. I think today in the current batch, we are very blessed to have some wonderful, talented people, so we're national level singers, national level sports people, so those are the kind of people we feel can really act as true leaders when they go out in workplaces. Once they finish their MBA, they are equipped with the MBA and the management knowledge and the business knowledge. These are the personalities which will be always in the forefront to take initiative, to work well with people, and to go out of their way to take responsibilities and execute them well. So I think these are very important traits in the industry, apart from just knowing your skill set of management well. Industry is also looking for people who have a very good set of interpersonal skills, who can work well across cultures, who can think out of the box more innovatively, and who can take initiative and responsibility rather than just act in silos. So that teamwork is also very important. So I think with these thoughts, I will just open the floor for your questions. If you have any, I think this is the broad framework as we go along. Uh, like I said, it is not about a purely cat mat driven exam which will test you only for your IQ. We are also looking at your overall personality and whether that aligns well to our process and to our thinking. And that can contribute to the cause that soil stands for, because we believe in creating leaders who can take responsibility for not just their own lives but for the communities around them, for the country, and for the planet as such. So if you have that kind of a passion, that kind of a dream, I think soil would be the right place for you. We would love to work along with you and help you achieve your dreams. So, with these thoughts, like I said, let's open the floor to any questions that you have, or any other feedback, or any ideas, or any thoughts that you may have.
So I request, thanks, ma'am. Thanks for your time. I request all the attendees to write the question in their question and answer section. So I will read out that question to ma'am. Thank you.
Sure, sure.
Uh,
I can read it, I think, Shubhish. So Nitin is asking one question. Hi, ma'am. Thanks for your insights. I have one question. I have almost 9.5 years of experience in HR advisory and wanted to shift to HR transformation, change management roles. I want to have your guidance, what you look for experienced candidates. Secondly, I have average academics. So, okay, so you probably would be looking at our HR program, right? So we have two programs, a business leadership and a HR leadership program. I would say, Nitin, that I think you have a good background because you're saying you have 9.5 years of experience in HR advisory. So that makes you a good fit for the HR leadership program, definitely. Academics, like I said, average is doable. It's what we are looking for is whether you have the right ingredients in you, whether you have that potential to excel in the domain that you have chosen, which you are saying is HR transformation. And yes, of course, as you know that our forte is HR. Our founder is an HR celebrity, a global celebrity in that sense, Mr. Anil Sachdev. And we have good partnerships in the consulting of HR. We have a great advisory board. I think we are known a lot for our HR courses and our HR curriculum. So I think that would be a good fit for you into HR transformation if you want to go into that area. So HRLP would definitely help you do that. Your experience is slightly on the higher side, if I may say so. Like I said, that the average age of experience is 3.5 to 4 years, and a normal maximum is about 7. A normal maximum. But of course, outliers are there. We have had people with 10 years experience, with even more like 13 to 14 years of experience. And these people have excelled and they have done very well in the industry. So we look for niche opportunities at the time of placements for them. They obviously don't come into the bracket of campus hiring, which is looking at about up to about 6 years of work experience. Beyond that becomes all lateral. And so, yes, in that sense, you will be eligible in that bracket of lateral hiring. But yes, you seem prima facie, you seem to have a good profile. And of course, I mean, if you send in your resume, we can take a closer look at it, and we can also request our HR chair and others to HR faculty to look at it more closely. I hope I've answered you, Nitin, and there are no subsequent questions to that.
We have another question, ma'am, from Rangan Saha.
Okay.
So it says, what degree will be received by after PGPM? Is it equivalent to diploma like PGDM?
No, it will be a certificate, Rangan. This is a one-year program, and it's called a postgraduate program in management, PGPM, right? AICT approved program is our PGDM, which is postgraduate diploma in management, which is a 2-year program. We're running that out of our Manesar campus, and that's based on design thinking. It has a blend of liberal arts and management into the curriculum, and that gives a diploma. So AICT again will give you a diploma. The degree is what comes from a university affiliation, right? So the degree part comes there. What we do is a one-year program, and all one-year programs are allowed to give a certificate, not a degree. But it is accepted by the industry. So we've been running this for almost 12 years now, and our alumni is excelling in the industry into some very, very great roles and industries, and they're doing very well. And I don't think industry acceptance is a question there. A degree is something that is more required by the public sector. The PSUs and the government jobs are looking more at the degree. Ours is more in partnership with industry, and therefore we haven't faced an issue in that sense.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question we have from Pooja Sharma.
Mm-hmm.
She has almost 2 years of work experience in banking industry. Does that make her eligible for 1-year BLP program? And also, when does this batch will start?
Okay. So you have 2 years in banking industry. Yes, like I said, 2 years minimum is what is required for experience, minimum experience for business leadership program. So you will be eligible for that, Pooja. And when does the batch commence? It's likely to commence this year in May. We normally commence in April, but because of COVID, we are extending the ending date of the current batch by about a couple of months, and therefore we will also have to delay the starting of the new batch by about a month or so, and therefore I think we will begin sometime in the month of May this year, most likely towards the end of May, 3rd or the 4th week of May.
Thank you, ma'am. We have another question from Bablu Kumar Singh. His question is, how soil is perceived in the industry? Is soil accepted across industry among companies other than the one partner with soil?
Oh yes, definitely, Bablu. I think it is more accepted in the other set that you're talking about, because it's more accepted in that sense, because I mean when we started, we partnered with 32 companies who are in our consortium, and therefore over the last 12 years, we have in fact made many more friends. So today we have almost about 400 companies partnering with us, and so we've grown way beyond those 32 companies that we started with, And some of these other companies, in fact, are bigger fans of soil, and they love to come every year to us, and they love to engage with us in everything, be it our curriculum designing or mentoring, or being part of the admission process itself. So I think a lot of these other companies who have found our students to be adding a lot of value to their growth, so they come year after year. And secondly, also our alumni has kind of spread across different industries and different companies. So wherever they're working, they have been our great brand ambassadors. And so that has brought a lot of confidence in the industry for soil. And that's the reason they keep coming to us and partnering with us.
Thank you, ma'am. We have another question from Rakesh. He wants to know more about digital track and how it is related to Microsoft.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, I think this digital track is a very useful and very important track that we've managed to bring into the curriculum this year. So we've been working on this for almost last 1.5 years or so, along with one of the very accomplished industry leaders in that, Mr. Sanjeev Nikor, who has been a very senior leader in the industry in digital. And so he has worked with us along with an advisory board in digital, which we have created for the curriculum. So over the last 1.5 years, we managed to create a curriculum and course content on different areas of digital. And we also managed to partner with Microsoft. We did not want to just launch it like any other track with some faculty members. We wanted the industry specialist and the giant, the leader there, who's Microsoft, to come and run that for us. And therefore we were very blessed, if I may say so, that Microsoft agreed to partner with us. Normally they partner with technical institutes, and in business they have partnered only with ISB Hyderabad so far. We are the second school in the country they have chosen to partner with, because they liked our curriculum, they liked our philosophy and the innovative and the new things that we are doing in our curriculum. So they had that confidence in our learning design, and therefore we were able to enter into an agreement with them that they will teach some 100 hours into the program, and they will give us some 30,000 Azure hours also for cloud hours for students to work upon. And so we will be looking at them for their strength areas. They're very strong in cloud, in AI, ML, IoT, blockchain, and data visualization with Power BI. So those are some areas they're very strong on. And therefore, those modules will be part of our curriculum and digital track. This year, we are running a smaller version of this for our entire 75 students that we have in the current batch. Next year, we will probably launch a totally separate specialization in a program on that, with a much larger content and teaching hours and cloud hours on that. So that is where it stands. And if you need a brochure, I'm sure my admission team can send that across also to you for more details.
Thank you, ma'am. So we have Yogita Gore question. She's asking two questions. First one is, can she have a dual specialization in BLP program, that is marketing and analytics, so whether she can take it or not? That is the first question. Our second question is this course AICTE approved? Will that make any difference for us who wish to do PhD further? So these are the two questions.
Dual specialization, see Yogita, the way we have created the curriculum is that so that you get benefit of all domains of business. So you in the first term, it's common for all the students, and you go through marketing, finance, HR, operations, strategy, digital, analytics. Everybody goes through all these areas, right? It's only in the second term you will specialize in one of the 4 tracks of either digital or analytics, marketing, finance, and of course HR is the other program. Now, having said that, you will notice that there is a lot of marketing into analytics and there's a lot of analytics into marketing, right? So in a way you will be kind of anyway doing digital and analytics in every domain, be it marketing, be it HR, be it finance. Because every area nowadays has become heavily inclined on digital and analytics, and that's the reason we have built in these 2 areas as horizontal across all specializations. So you will get the benefit of both these areas also in the curriculum, right? So that's the way it has been designed also, so that people are not left out and they're trained well for the industry of the the emerging roles which are coming in the industry, which is mostly based on digital and analytics these days. So no longer you have a pure marketing or a pure finance or a pure HR role. I mean, very few of those are coming. It's more driven by these 2 areas of analytics and digital, and of course design thinking, which is the third part, important element. And so these 3 areas are built across all areas, all the functions. And your second question is this AICT approved. Will that make any difference for us who wish to do PhD further? So see, like I told you, this is a 1-year program which is not AICT approved. Our 2-year program is AICT approved, because 1-year programs are not approved. You have to have a minimum of 15 to 18 months to be AICT approved, number 1. Number 2, even if you're AICT approved, it does not make you eligible for PhD. Like I said, for PhD, you will need a master's degree, which comes from a university and not from AICT. So even the programs which are approved by AICT will give you only a diploma. They cannot give you a degree, right? So if you want to do PhD, you will have to have a master's degree, which is from an institute which is affiliated with a university, which comes under the banner of a university, and only the university is allowed to give the degree. I hope that is clear, right? But having said that, of course, because this 1-year MBA really sharpens your skills at management, raises your game in all the business functions, and then I've seen it becomes easier for people to take on a master's and then a PhD from there. So many students even take up a master's from some global renowned universities and colleges after SOIL, because SOIL gives them that stepping board, which makes their application very attractive for some of these very top-notch business schools across the globe. So many of our students are taking that path also.
Ma'am, we have another question from Siddhant.
Okay.
He's having work of 25 months as a relationship manager in working capital loan division in BFSI sector. So, though he is from engineering background, so now he wants to build his career in marketing sector. So he's asking whether he's eligible for SOIL BLP program.
Yeah. 25 months, that means 2 years. Yes, you are. Like I said, minimum 2 years is what is required. And BFSI, BFSI sector is obviously the most high potential, high growing sector in the country. I think we all have big hopes on that. It's the fastest growing sector. And I think your working capital loan division in that gives you a good exposure to that part. And you also have an engineering background. And what is smart, I think, whether you want to build a career in marketing or finance, analytics, anywhere, that's something students like to take a call on once they join here and they're exposed to all the areas of business, and then they can, with the help of the mentors, they're able to find their true calling and their true fit, right? So yes, you are eligible for BLP. And yes, your profile sounds good because you have a combination of engineering and BFSI sector experience. So that makes it a very, very good profile. And whether you want to do marketing or anything else, that's something you can take a call when you join. But yes, we are very well known for our marketing track because we have some excellent faculty partnering with us in that cohort who come into classes and make the learning amazingly rich. So, I mean, many of our alumni are doing exceedingly well in the marketing space also. So, I think that would be a good choice if that remains your aspiration.
Thank you, ma'am. We have another question from Bablu. It is a repeat question from him. I mean, second question from him.
Yeah.
He's saying he's done BTech and he graduated with 78.5 percentage. He's got 69.6% in 12th and 85.5 in 10th, with 4 years of work experience in Amazon as a catalog lead handling US retail business. So he's asking, could he will be good fit and what scores are needed to apply and what is the deadline?
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I think, see, I can see that your experience is quite exciting. The 4 years work experience with Amazon. I think, again, that's a very, very growing area. What we are seeing in COVID is that, the sector of e-commerce, retail especially, is growing very fast. I think they have been able to leverage on the tide of digital quite well. Therefore, this year in placements also, we are giving a sharp focus to that sector and preparing students for that role. Apart from, of course, the IT sector, which is the other, industry which is booming well. Yes, so I think your work experience is good. I would say you have a BTech. That's also nice because we do have a majority of the class is engineers, and they tend to kind of align very well with the MBA, and the analytics and the digital piece of it. Your scores are decent, I would say. So we require minimum 60% in 10th, 12th, and graduation. The reason is that, because the recruiters normally, require that as a criteria. And therefore, I think you qualify in that also. So you would be a good fit, and the deadline is approaching. I think we have our first deadline on 30th October and for application. So the earlier you apply, the better it is, because then, the faster you are enrolled and you become part of all the events that we are able to invite you to and be a part of. And of course, then the scholarships also work that way based on the cycles that you apply.
Okay. Thank you. Another question we have from the Ashutosh Daush. It's a pretty long one, so I'll just read out slowly.
I can read it out. Don't worry, Ashutosh. You in between also, Shovesh, there were a couple of questions. Should we read those first? There's an anonymous one. I'm BTech with. Just this is the same.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Sorry, yes, this is the same one. And then yes, 1 plus something. This is Siddhant. I'm having experience, so this is also done.
Yes.
Okay, Ashutosh. So I'll read it out, Shovesh. I think it's long one. You'll get bored reading it. I'm pursuing my final year graduation from agriculture sciences. Okay. I've applied for soil PGPM HR online. No experience. I'm in the final year. My question is how many seasons? Great. Okay. I think, Ashutosh, what you're basically saying is that you're interested in the HR program and you don't have a minimum 2-year work experience, right? So I would urge you to look at our 2-year program, which is more for freshers and people with, lesser work experience. So I think that would be a better fit for you because then you will be in your group, with of similar work experience people. But having said that, I would suggest that you also send in your resume to our counselors you are in touch with, and we can look at it more closely to see whether you, for any reason that you might want to take up a 1 year and not a 2 year. So we can discuss that with you after looking at your profile. So just send your resume please to one of the counselors you are in touch with, right?
Sure, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
We have another question from Pawan Kumar. He's saying he's currently working as a technical support associate with 30 months of work experience. So basically, it's a customer support domain. And he completed his graduation in computer science with 89%. He's looking forward to transform his career into HR domain. Is he eligible for Soil HR program or not?
Yes, you have 20, you have bare minimum 2 years. You, yes, you don't have a prior HR work experience, but that's okay because, an MBA is meant to give you that opportunity to be able to change your domain, right? So, uh, majority of our students who join us say that they want to shift to something else, either to marketing or to finance or to HR, with a different background. And I think people are looking at MBA, and especially with soil, as a via media to be able to make a shift in their career domains. Maybe because they've found that aspiration within themselves, or for some other reason they want to change their trajectory. And I think soil MBA would be a good way to do that for you. You are eligible for soil HR, and like I said that we get many students who are not from HR background and yet take up HR program, and then they shift the industry and are also successful HR leaders now in the industry. So that doesn't prevent you from taking up an HR. And likewise for others who want to take up, who have not done marketing and still want to take up marketing, who have not done analytics, want to do that. So I think there are no boundaries in that, because your experience is yet not so huge that it can be a roadblock. You still only 30 months. It's not like it's about 10 years or 20 years that you can't change, and people change even after that. That's a different story. But I think there's no time limit to when you realize your true passion and you want to make the change. So I think life is all about experimenting and doing things which you want to do and whenever you want to do. So it's just that we need to have that ability to put in that extra effort when we want to do something different. So that hard work and that effort should be there, along with the interest and aptitude to be able to make changes in our life track and our career tracks.
So we have another question from Rohit Yadav. He's saying he's 26 years old, having 3 years of work experience in digital marketing, and he is an engineering graduate in IT with excellent sports background.
Okay.
Now he like to change his career path. So he's confused between analytics and finance. So according to you, what would be a great fit if he joins Soil? It is in the chat.
Okay, it's in the chat window. Okay. So he has he's 26 years, having 3 years of experience in digital marketing. Okay. See, I think right now it is important for you to take a call on whether you want to do an MBA or not, right? So that's the primary decision you should have and should be very clear about. Once you are clear on that and you join Soil and the MBA program, the question of specialization comes much later. Whether it has to be marketing or finance or analytics or anything, is something that you don't want to decide too soon, right? Nor do we ask you to make that choice very soon. The entire year is divided into 3 terms of about 3.5 months each, right? The first term is a foundation term. Like I said, you go through all functions in that: marketing, finance, HR, operations, strategy, everything. And you also have mentors, you also have faculty, you also have your classmates, and you keep discussing with them. You also go through all these courses, and then you decide which area attracts you well and which area is suitable for you. That way, it gives you more chance to make a very conscious decision rather than just jumping into it based on some preliminary feeling that you want to go into some place. So we always advise you, take your time, talk to the faculty members here: marketing faculty, analytics faculty, finance faculty, you have resident faculty, you have visiting faculty who comes in, you have industry mentors who come in, you have alumni who are well experienced and come. And so talk to everybody, understand what your personality is made of, what kind of career track will give you the best benefit, and then take a decision on which specialization you want to take. So there is no hurry on that. I always advise people, take your time. Don't come, in fact, with a very fixed mindset that you only want to do this. Come with an open mindset, experience first, discuss, talk to people, and then take a considered, conscious choice of which area you want to go in. Right? So that would be my advice to you. And after first term, you're allowed to make a change even from BLP to HR and HR to BLP. So that is even allowed, right? So there is no hurry in doing that. But yes, if you want to get into the marketing domain, that is definitely a very, very exciting area. And like I said, we are known well for our curriculum in marketing, our faculty in marketing, and alumni who have made excellent careers in marketing.
Oh, ma'am, the next question we have a couple of minutes, ma'am. So we have another 2 questions as of now.
Okay.
So we have another one is like question on what we test in STAT exam.
What is the?
What
We test in the STAT exam. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, the STAT exam is, like I said, about, it's a psychometric analysis that we have. It is not like not like an IQ test. It is more to test around your, traits like leadership personality, traits that you have, your ego resilience, your ego strength, your assertiveness, or your relationship skills. For example, what is your gregariousness? What is your sociability? Then how your personal organization, which is time management, urgency, and other things. And likewise, these are some of the traits which get tested on that STAT exam. The idea, like I said, is to understand your personality profile, right? So some people are very good with, let's say, relationship skills and teamwork, etc. So obviously, the first choice for them becomes marketing. Some people have great abstract reasoning, which is your logical thinking, quantitative aptitude, and others. So they can be more inclined towards analytics and those areas. And some people, may have better leadership skills, and therefore, there are some career chosen paths for that. This also helps us to develop your individual development program we call IDP, which is used as a developmental tool for mentoring. So your mentor looks at the STAT result and knows that, okay, now these are your strength areas. How can you leverage that well? How should you rely on that and take that forward? And let's say these are the areas which are you slightly low on. So what should you do to improve upon that? So this becomes like a developmental tool for us to understand how to work with you during the year, so that your personality by the end of the year is shaped well enough for the industry and for life in general. Right? So that's what STAT is all about. It's called STAT, but it's actually a psychometric analysis tool.
Oh, Another question we have, ma'am, from Pawan Kumar. He's asking whether we have any cutoff marks for CAT exam and Gmat exam.
No, like I said, that we have our own stat exam. We don't go purely with an IQ based exam like a CAT or a GMAT. If you've done that, well and good. We have a small weightage of that in our scoring, but we do not rely entirely on that. Our reliance is more on the psychometric analysis and the interview, that is the talent appreciation process that the interviewer has with you all, along with the education background and the work experience and any other extra diversity or excellence from extracurricular space that you bring to the table. So those are some areas we look
Uh, uh, this is the another one, ma'am, from Bablu again. He's
at.
having three questions. I'll read one by one, ma'am.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
first one is, what is the placement scenario? I see
Mhm.
the average is around 10 lakhs per annum.
Mhm.
So
Second
he's
is,
asking,
what are the profiles offered? What is the median salary, top 25% salary? Will this coming session will be online or classroom? Okay, okay. So yes, Bablu, placement scenario is that we've had an average of about 10.5 lakhs in BLP. Um, the high has also been around 16 plus for a couple of students. It really depends on the your previous drawn CTC is what I say. So instead of looking at your average or median salary, I normally tell students that you should look at your previous drawn CTC, right? So recruiters also look at that. So it's not like that you were drawing 4 lakhs earlier and you can expect 14 lakhs now. That doesn't happen. Or you cannot say that, okay, I was drawing 3 lakhs and I would like to see the getting the average of 10 lakhs. So it's normally about 100% on an average, 100% increment increase from your previous drawn salary normally. So I would say up to about if your CTC previous drawn is about 5 or 6 lakhs, it's normally 100% jump. But if it is above 6 lakhs, then obviously that increment starts dropping. So if you're at 10 lakhs, you cannot expect 20 lakhs. So maybe you will get about 15 lakhs or 16 lakhs, right? Uh, so I think that should be the parameter. And our minimum hygiene is 7 lakhs. We do not accept any company on the campus which is offering below 7 lakhs. That is a minimum that we have. So I think that's broadly how we work with. And of course, having said that, there are students who have worked very, very hard and very smartly and have been very sincere workers throughout the year, and who have managed even a 200% or 300% jump. I mean, yeah, even more than 300% jump also at times. There have been very smart students who've done that. So I think it all depends a lot on the students also, how much hard work and how much sincerity they put into the program. From our side, we like to maintain our average of about at least 10.5 lakhs. And this year, we are planning to also vie for a better one, because we are seeing some very good niche roles coming from the e-commerce industry. And like I said, the IT sector is also booming. And we have also added the digital track, which should enhance the skill set and attract better roles in digital space and analytics space. Given all this combination, we are expecting that the average CTC on campus should also go up substantially, and the percentage of students who are drawing higher amount of salary also should go up this year. And will this coming session be online based or classroom? It's currently a mix. We started with the digital and the virtual medium in April. Sorry. Because that time COVID was around, and we did not want to waste time of the students by just waiting for things to get normal and physical to start. So I think we were the only B school who stuck to our commitment, who delivered what we had promised. We had committed 22nd April and we started dot on 22nd April. We did not budge from there, did not allow the crisis to get the better of us. And we started with a very powerful induction program, getting into a foundation program, and then getting into the term-wise, learning. Our students are thoroughly enjoying that. I think they've become very confident by now, learning in the digital medium and interacting. In fact, I would say they've really taken this as an opportunity from a challenge. And they're doing things which no other batch has so far been able to do in a virtual medium. So they're creating wonderful, presentations, wonderful choreographed events, and everything is happening virtually in a way that is preparing them very well for the future of work in the world, because everything is going to be about digital. Workplaces are fast converting to work from home, and digital is going to be the medium, is going to be the normal new way of working. And if people are not comfortable with that, you can soon be left behind. So virtual was what it is till now, and as soon as we get the government permission, we are waiting for that in the Haryana state government. As soon as we get that, we will also open the physical campus. The staff is already going to the office, and we will open it for the students also. And till the time that happens, it has to be online and a mix. And later on also, it might be just a mix, because there could be some students or some parents who may not be comfortable sending their children physically on campus. So it all depends on how the crisis shapes up and how government regulations shape up, because we do not want to put the health and safety of anybody at risk. So that is a priority. And at the same time, we don't want to compromise on the learning experience and the placement. So that's going full blast in the virtual medium. So I think in a way it's even better than physical, and preparing students for the future in a much better way. So I hope I've answered all your questions here. And do we have time for anything else, or should we? There are any other questions? I'll be happy to extend and take this if we are allowed to extend. If not, then.
Ma'am, one is the last. However, you have answered it, but just for, he has put it. He's not mentioned his name, the candidate.
Okay.
He just mentioned without any work experience, that is just after graduation, whether his resume will be accepted or not for 1 year program, and there's any chance for his selection or her selection or not. So on.
Without any work experience, I'm sorry. Not for the 1 year program, but for the 2 year, yes. So see, why we are insisting on work experience, I'd explained this before, because it's a very fast-paced program. So unless you have the work experience, it gets difficult for freshers to take that rigor and that pace, which is very fast. That's the reason we have put minimum work experience. And also, then the peer group is of a certain quality, which you're able to easily mingle into. So sometimes, that may not be a good fit for a fresher. I would recommend a 2 year program, which is really, again, very unique. It has a beautiful campus in Manesar, a very sprawling campus right on the highway. And it's based on design thinking, and it's doing some wonderful, unique things in the curriculum. So that's something that you may like to look at.
Oh. Thank you, ma'am. I believe we have covered all the questions, and we are almost at 6 p.m. So that's all. However, to all the attendees, if you have any question unanswered, you can always get back to us on our email ID on admissions@allindia.net. We will be happy to answer those. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful talking to all of you. And like Shobhesh said, our admission team is here. Anytime you have any other query, you can talk to them. Even if you want any kind of advice or counseling, or in your career, whether in your career or personality assessment or anything, the faculty members would also be available, and we'll be very happy to have a conversation with you. We can also connect you to our industry mentors, to our alumni mentors. and the entire network that we have. Ultimately, we are in the space of developing students and helping you understand and realize your aspirations. So in case you need that, feel free to reach out to anyone, and they can schedule some time with me or with any of the other highly competent faculty members that we have, and they can help you go forward in understanding and realizing your dreams, whatever you may have. All right. Thank you so much. Have a nice time, and all the best for your future. All the best. Bye.